Well, folks, good day to one and all. iRSA Clio Cup, the final round. That's going to be at Hockenheim, and Hockenheim, should I say, in the Renault Clio. And what a fantastic series it's been. This is round number 8 of 8 rounds. And we're not even going to look at the points as they are. We're just going to go into today's race, look at it, and have fun. And then we'll do all the calculations at the end. And, well, it would be lovely to have Frankie Innes with me. Unfortunately, he's got a bit of a chest bug, and he's not been able to join me here in the second gear production studios. So this is the very final round of the iRSA Clio Cup for 2023, and I personally think it's going to be really, really interesting. Let's have a look at who we're going to be able to see out there. Let's have a look, see. Oh, Brilliant IT, undoubtedly. That is Umpi Swart. Then there's Sandra Bakari, and we often see him these days in those colors. The Michelin Man. Byron Mitchell, super duper quick on any circuit that he goes to, can drive, fly, rotate, anything that you can possibly think of. He will drive it for you without any problem whatsoever. Also out there on circuit, that is Robbie Teens, the Boltman Robbie Teens, the original comeback kid. Luca Kesey out there, and as always, pretty much in the red, the Momo colors. If it's not Momo, it'll be DHL, one of the two. Raymond Duggan, one of the success stories of 2023 as he works his way past the start-finish line. That means that he has already done his warm-up lap in the Iron Brew car. He's now on his first of two flyers. Willem Botha in the Pepsi colors as he works his way around in the 23 car. Julian Familiares, wow, what a guy. Julian Familiares, Mobile One V8 campaigner in the Extreme Festival, and well, a very accomplished driver in iRacing as well. The local man, Scal Caldenace, and in the normal number livery that he normally runs with the GTI Challenge down at Cologne International Raceway. Dino Stimmen, the young lad, does a lot of OKLA karting as well, Online Karting League Association, and he's a pretty good karter. I believe he's involved with Formula One and doing catering for some sector of Formula One, so he actually cruises around all over the show. And then Troy Dolenchik, probably going to be one of the quickest out there. The man that's off, he put that up on two wheels. That's going to cost him quite a bit of time, that's for sure. And Troy Dolenchik, last year, he rode in the Open Wheeler Series of the Extreme Festival, and he was Rookie of the Year. And this year, the Investcam Formula 1600 Series, he's actually won out on that one, which gives him a GTC test drive, a Friday and a Saturday global touring car. And then it also gives him a 200,000 Rand prize money to put towards whatever he's going to be doing next season. So Julian Familiares is the man that's the quickest out there, just 15 hundredths of a second slower. Luke Lekesi, the man that is the mastermind between the new Sports and GT Masters Backstage Elite Series, which is starting on a Wednesday night, in fact. And I think that one's going to be a pretty very nice series to be able to watch as well, and to take part in. Dino Stamin finds himself provisionally on the second row of the grid, and that just 3/10, just 1/10 behind him, Umpi Swart. You could better believe the Bullion IT man is not going to be happy with that alone. He will definitely want to be on the front row. Nice to see that Willem Botha in the Pepsi entry is right up there on the third row of the grid. Byron Mitchell, another man that will never be happy on the outside of row number 3. He's quite happy on the outside of the curbstones there. There wasn't a problem whatsoever. Using everything that he's got. Scal Caldenace in the 10 car. He'll be working his way around pretty neatly as well. There he is. You can see where he is on the circuit. We're 5 minutes 16. Oh, look at Kesey. Just bumps it a little quicker. 1 minute 38.158. That takes him 2/10 clear of everybody else. Let's see, here comes Skalkheldenhuis. Byron Mitchell comes up onto the second row of the grid. Is he going to be bumped down by Skalkheldenhuis? Let's see when Skalk comes up towards the line. Not impossible. Nope, he doesn't manage to post anything quicker than that. So this man still has not got any times at all. That's Troy Dolenchik, and he would definitely be a very possible candidate for front row of the grid, having watched the practice session. Unless something's gone wrong for him, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes onto the front row of the grid at all. Has he had an open lap? Yes, he has. Oh, 75 thousandths of a second. And he's still got one more lap to go. So Luke Lucchesi and Troy Dolenchik with Julian from the iRSA and Dino Stamin provisionally at this stage of the fight on the front row of the grid. Looks like Nico Kellerman is on his way around now towards the final section. Here he comes through. It'll be the Sachs curve, sorry, the Sate curve, and he works his way around. That's right at the bottom end of the diagram you see there on the right hand side of the screen. Let's see what Nico Kellerman can do for himself. Can he get up into the top half? Nope, he has not had a clean round, and on 1 minute 38 he's not going to get another full round either by the looks of it. So I think he might be coming off the back end of the pack. Let's have a look at Robbie Teens. Here comes Robbie Teens. Is he going to make a impact as to where he stands on the grid? Robbie Teens rounds out the fifth row with Sandro Bakari. And we've just got 45 seconds still to go. Skalkheldenhuis will be coming around. Let's see where what Skalk can do with this one. I think Skalk is probably... he's just pulled it off onto the side, so he's completed. He's one. Let's check with Robbie Tings. He's completed. Lucas de Min. He desperately needs a clean lap to be able to... Oh, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it. And then, unfortunately, he's going to hold him right off the back of the pack with the likes of Nico Kellerman. So Lucas de Min not getting a clean lap in. And, well, that's going to cost him. But remember, the top 10 is inverted for race number 2. So only last and second last will stay last and second last. Everybody else will be in with a shout when we go to the second race. So let's have a look at that grid. Ooh, the best of the old tops and the best of the young guns. Luke Lucchesi and Troy Dolenchik on the front row. Julian from the iRSA with Dino Stamin on the second row. Byron Mitchell from Umpi Swart. Willem Botha and Skalkheldenhuis with Raymond Duggan and Robbie Teens on the fifth row of the grid. Sandro Bakari and Luca Stamin that are going to be bringing off the back end of the pack. And remember, Nico Kellerman did not put up a lap time, and Lucas Stamin only had that one clean lap, and that is why it ended up the way that it did for him. So standing start it is going to be. Let's have a nice clear screen so we can see everything that we want to see. Standing start, and it's going to be short, sweet, powerful, pushy, rubby racing that's going to happen out there with Luke Lucchesi ahead of Troy Dolenchik. And I saw Troy Dolenchik was practicing earlier on riding very, very tightly with the likes of Julian from the iRSA. I see Byron Mitchell has not clicked in. That's why you can see he's got a slightly darker color around the etching of the fifth place. But there we go. Byron Mitchell's in. So 13 in total. It's going to be... We're going to be going off the lights, and we're just about ready to go racing. And they're going to come off the pack. Well, look at that one. That's going to be pretty interesting stuff. Everybody very close to one another as they're going to work their way down to the first corner. And being on that inside line has definitely worked for him. He's gone to the front. Has Dolenchik with Luca trying to have a look up on... Dino Stamin having a look on Luke Lucchesi, and Luke Lucchesi right onto the back bumper. Byron Mitchell's right in there as well. Umpi Swart taking it a little bit easy. He gets alongside, and can he get the option to go around the outside of the Castrol car? I do believe he's in with a shout, but you won't get around Byron Mitchell that easy whatsoever. Julian from the iRSA is right there as well. Let's just go to the front end of the field. There's Troy Dolenchik. Troy Dolenchik doing a lovely job. It's all in his hands from Luke Lucchese. Then we have Byron Mitchell. Umpi's right up into that fourth. He goes right over the top of the curbstone. Julian from the RS just goes in ahead of Willem Botha. That's the Pepsi car. Then we go into the cool drinks. There's the Iron Brew man, and then Nico Kellerman. Remember, Kellerman came off the back end of the pack, so he's actually done a brilliant job. Dino Stimmen unfortunately had an incident, and we'll try and pick that one up for you. I do believe something went wrong for Dino Stimmen. Let's see what happened for him, as he was doing quite fine earlier on there. The Best Water Technologies car gets it onto the grass and takes quite a while to get that one to turn, and unfortunately that takes him completely out of that front end of the field. Oh, look how close they are as they work their way through. Troy Dolenchik, Luke Lucchese, Byron Mitchell, then it's Umpi Swart. Willem Botha is the next man coming through behind that in the Pepsi car, also climbing that curbstone very, very heavily. Raymond Duggan, well, there's a bit of a gap back to Raymond Duggan, but not all bad. Look at Kellerman. Kellerman's making up positions hand over fist, really doing a brilliant job. And there we go with the Red Bull 76 as he works his way through. But Luke Lucchese is on the move. Luke Lucchese coming up on the outside line. And, well, you're not going to beat this young flyer very easily from there. Keep an eye on Byron Mitchell directly behind that. He locked up the right-hand back wheel. Nothing much between these two, Luke Lucchese and Troy Dolenchik. They must actually make sure they don't slow one another down, because if they slow one another down whatsoever, it's going to be that man, Byron Mitchell, that's going to capitulate on that one and close right up onto the back of them and make that a three-way battle. A little bit further back, Umpi Swart of 1.8, but he's got a small smidgen of a breath of fresh air between himself and the man directly behind him. There's Skalk Geldnys, and Skalk Geldnys, that's roughly where Skalk started this race. He stays ahead of Raymond Duggan, and there's that battle going on behind that. Nico Kellerman off the back end of the pack. Oh, Robbie Teens involved in that one, and Robbie Teens gets turned around and off the track he goes, and I don't think he'll be too happy with that. Let's just have another look at that one with Robbie Teens. Yep, unfortunately that was a very unfortunate one, that, but two cars trying to use the same piece of ground, and that's where that one came. In the meantime, Luke Lucchese has passed Troy Dolenchik. Let's see exactly how that one happened. Yep, Luke managed to get up on the inside. Remember I said they've got to be very careful, otherwise Byron Mitchell is going to make it a three-way battle. Well, that is exactly what has happened. Byron Mitchell's now come to play, and that's exactly what Umpi Swart wants. Let's have a look at the last times that was put up. You'll probably find that, yeah, as I was about to say it, Umpi Swart did put up the fastest. That because they are knocking, rubbing and hacking and chopping one another, and that kind of thing happens, and that brings Umpi Swart very much into play. Now on that inside line, Luke Lucchese gets held on that outside, and here comes Umpi. Umpi's right into it. Now it's all, oh, look, Lucchese. He's a class act for one of the old. Oh, here comes Umpi. Umpi sticks it up on the inside line, and he can see they're going to go three abreast, and Umpi, being the always the thinking driver, just backs out of that one and says, hey, you guys carry on, I'll get another chance, not a hassle. Pick one. Which one you're going to follow? He decides that it's going to be Byron Mitchell that is going to follow through, but after this is going to be the right-hander. Surely he will try and dive in behind like that. Luke Lucchese gives him a little nibble, make sure that he gets through past Byron, because if he gets past Byron, then Umpi can go through as well. Byron Mitchell's probably going to try and drop in behind him. No, he's got a little bit of overlap, and Luke is coming to pay. It is the Pepsi car of Willem Botha that's right in there with him now as well. That's what he sees in front of him. That's Willem Botha. That's Byron Mitchell that's having a look on that inside line. That's Umpi Swart that takes the conventional line, trying to do a conventional line as well. That was Willem Botha. Oh, this must be so tantalizing. He looks and he says, Mitchell, now you're good. Looks in front of that Umpi. Oh, even just as good. And then look, Lucchese and the frequent flyer, Troy Dolenchik. Look how they make space for one another. Ooh, using a bit of grass. Unless he can do a massive cutback, that's going to cost him. And yes, it does. Look at that. 2.5, 3 car lengths. Just nibbling lightly on the grass, and that was too much. But because they're holding one another up, Byron Mitchell not on the ultimate line. And that's how he sticks it up on the inside, uses as much curbstone as what he possibly can to make sure that they don't make contact. But let's have a look at Lucchese. Lucchese a little bit further forward. That is 1700ths of a second in there behind the Valvoline and John Player special sponsored car of a Troy Dolenchik. Takes the wide line. Is he going to try and do the proverbial cutback? You don't catch Troy Dolenchik that easy. Troy could see that one coming as Luke lined it up very, very neatly. And made sure that he closed that line off completely. A little bit further back at Skalk Geldenhuis that's coming into play. Skalk Geldenhuis, he saw that they were holding one another up, and he's just come a whole heap closer. 6 minutes 47 into the 15 minutes. That's almost halfway. Skalk's now coming into play. Remember, a little bit further back is Dino Stamin. Now, Dino, remember, started off the back of the pack. He only got one clean lap. And then he tried a little bit too hard, and he didn't manage to get in another one at all. So that was as good as it got for him. That's what he had to do at that stage of the fight, and try and keep it all together and work his way towards the front. And now up to that 7th position. There we go. Troy Dolenchik and Luke Lucchese's on the hunt. Troy Dolenchik and Luke Lucchese just a little bit further forward. There they are. Watch for the cutback. No, yes, he does. He does the perfect cutback. Does Luke Lucchese. And here comes Oompie Swart. Oompie Swart is in there. Byron Mitchell decides Oompie's probably going to be making moves. Oompie tries to go up on the inside. Loses straight line speed. Byron Mitchell says that's quite fine. And then Willem Botha closing up a little bit as well. Remember, with Willem Botha comes Skalk Geldenhuis, yet another one of the young guns as they work their way through, right up against the wall as they work their way along there. It's Troy Dolenchik from Luke Lucchese. Willem goes a bit wide. Willem goes wide and Skalk comes up, but Skalk's on the wrong side of the track. He'll have to do the cutback. Can Skalk Geldenhuis stick it in? Yes, he does. Skalk Geldenhuis moves up a position. He's already up into that 5th, but Willem's not going to give it away. Look at that. Look at that. 2 masters. And, they almost rubbed the back bumper. That was as close as it gets. But talking about getting closer, it's all about Oompie Swart and Byron Mitchell. They are slowly but surely just working over the 2 front runners. And it's a matter of time, I think, before they're going to get to Luke Lucchese and Troy Dolenchik. Remember, Luke Lucchese and Troy Dolenchik, they were the 2 quickest out there. Of that, there's no doubt. But at this stage of the fight, well, you can't really bet against Troy Dolenchik. You can't really bet against Luke Lucchese. How do you beat those 2? Even if you beat the one, how are you going to beat the other? Well, the only way you're going to get that right is if your name is Byron Mitchell, or your name is Oompie Swart, or your name is Skalk Geldenhuis, or if you do those kind of things, you're going to get your way through there as well. Dino Stamin and Skalk Geldenhuis. Dino Stamin's done brilliantly. Dino, in the Best Water Technologies car, has got himself past Skalk Geldenhuis, who was on his way, well, he was already up to a top 5 at that stage of the fight, but it's getting close up front. Here comes Luke Lucchese. Luke Lucchese is in the hunt, and he's going to go for the win. He wants nothing short of that. If he looks back from his car, he sees that is the next problem he's got in his life. So it's not going to be easy whatsoever for Luke Lucchese to get past Troy Dolenchik. It's not going to be easy to stay ahead of Byron Mitchell either as they work their way through. Oh, he was quick on the gear change there. There was a very short gear change. Pops it across to the inside. Gets given decent amount of space there. Troy Dolenchik will not beat you by taking you off the circuit. He'll rather ride right around you. Oompie Swart is in it. Oompie Swart is on the game. Let's go on board with Oompie Swart. You can't get much closer than that. And he has a look up on that outside line. Well, normally you wouldn't be able to make it from there, but, well, you must know. Oh, look at that. Do the pop back. You look this side, I'll pop around the other side. And Luke Lucchese finds himself now virtually 3 abreast as they go down towards the next corner. Luke Lucchese is going to be on the right side of the circuit, but it's going to be a very tight corner that he's got to take. Oh, they each give one another limited amount of space. The man that loses out on that one is, in fact, Umpi Swart. 11 minutes into 15 minutes of this race. Byron Mitchell has, in fact, put up the fastest lap time, and having said that, drops behind the very determined Luke Lucchese. Is this the order they're going to finish? It's reasonably possible. I mean, at the end of the day, it was these two that were on the front row of the grid. And these two, I mean, Luke Lucchese and Troy Dolenchik, that were on the front. Oh, look at that. Byron Mitchell's right in there. Umpi Swart saying, yeah, go for it. Go for it. Hold one another up. I'll be back there in a jiffy. And look at that. Taking the perfect lines is Umpi Swart, and making sure that he closes right up on those two in front of him. Mitchell runs it wide, and Luke Lucchese pops up on the inside. Can see that Umpi is there as well. Tries to close it off, but it doesn't work. Who's Umpi going to side with on this one? Will it be Byron Mitchell that'll be faster on that outside line? Will it be Luke Lucchese that carries the speed through? Well, he halves the difference and goes halfway between them. Gets himself up now alongside Byron Mitchell, but it is the right-hander to come. Luke Lucchese closes off that inside line. Byron Mitchell has a good run all the way around the outside. He almost got past Luke Lucchese at that stage of the fight. And Luke Lucchese, does he drop in behind him? No, he thinks he's got enough pace to stay right there. Remember, when they go towards the next corner, it's going to be the right-hander. And, well, obviously the fastest line is from the outside to the inside and to the outside again. But Luke Lucchese taking the short way around, holds out Byron Mitchell now for the 90-degree left-hander, and surely this is where Byron's going to take that position over Umpi, likely into the back of Luke Lucchese. We are now 12 minutes and 41 into this race, and it's been everything we hoped for, wished for, and more. And going further back, they're just there in a line astern. Let's go from the front end of the pack, because we've only got 2 more minutes to go after this. It is Troy Dolenchik that's now got Byron Mitchell right in there behind him. Luke Lucchese from Umpi Swart, from the Best Water Technologies car of Dino Stemin. Then it is Skalk Heldenace in the 10 that was up to 5th at one stage of the fight. In there behind him is Julian Familiaris that we haven't seen much of in the front runners. Willem Botha in the Pepsi car. Then it's Raymond Duggan that finds himself in the Iron Brew car down in 9th. Sandra Bakari further back in 10th. And then it's Nico Kellerman from Robbie Teens. And then Lucas Stimmen that's getting it all back together again. So if they... if they do the invert like this, it's going to be Sandra Macari and Raymond Duggan that's going to be on the front row of the grid. Now look at everybody ahead of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All 8 of them literally in the same frame. That's how close they are. Look at the difference back to Raymond Duggan and Sandra Macari. That means they're going to have them racked, packed and stacked. Made no line. 3, 4 of them locking up the right-hand rear as they go in there. Remember, this is a fixed setup, so everybody's got the exact same. Byron Mitchell, Luke Lucchese, and here comes Umpi. Umpi's right in there as well. Dino Stemin is doing the lovely job. Look at that. It's Dino Stemin that's in there. It's actually Lucas Stemin that is at the back of the pack, and Dino that's joined up with the front end of the pack. Troy Dolenchik working his way through, just 26 seconds still to go. Will the white flag come out next time around, or will it be the checkered? I haven't seen any indication of the white flag. This could be the last lap that they are on now. It depends when it comes across. It's going to be checkered flag. It's going to be the checkered flag, and it's going to be all about that, man. What a lovely drive. Troy Dolenchik from Byron Mitchell, from Umpi Swart, from Luke Lucchese. Next one coming through, Julian from the RS. Skalk Heldenace holds on to the 6th. The Iron Brew man, Raymond Duggan, ahead of the Pepsi man, Willem Botha, ahead of the Best Water Technologies of Dino Stemin. And then it is Sandra Bakari. Behind Sandra Bakari is Nico Kellerman, Robbie Teens, and then Luca Stemin. That means, to my mind, that Sandra Bakari and Dino are going to be on the front row of the grid with the invert. Then the second row will be Willem Botha and Raymond Duggan. Then it'll be Scal Kelnation tuning from the RS. That means all those big hitters are going to be coming then off the back end of the pack. Sure, that is going to be something else to see how that one is going to play itself out. So the first heat is done. Now there will be a 5-minute warm-up session. So those that want to get out there and go and do a little bit of practice on some format or another will be going out, and the rest of the guys will just take a little break, take a breath, and then be ready to go out again. So I'm going to take a little breather as well, and we'll be coming back to you in 4 minutes and 10 seconds from now with the second race of the day, the last round of the Clio Cup, and that being 8 rounds of Clio Cup that has been put in place, shall we say, for 2023, and it's been a brilliant series. I'll be back with you in 3.5 minutes from now. For those of you that have just joined us, we just 1.5 minutes away from race number 2 of the day. 6 rounds for 2023, this being round number 6 in the iRSA iRacing South Africa Clio Cup, as we know it, which is the Renault Clio. And well, it's been an amazing series, and it's almost a pity, that it is a pity that this one's coming to end, but I'm sure there's going to be more Clio Cup series. Well, folks, that brings us to race number 2. As we said, Sandro Bacani from Dino Stammen, Willem Botha from Raymond Duggan. Oh, and then that whole group of fast guys. Skalk Geldenhuis, Julian van der Ares, Luke Lucchese, Umpi Swart, Byron Mitchell, Troy Dolenchek, Nico Kellerman and Robbie Teens that had a bit of offs there in the first race find themselves at the back end of the pack. So undoubtedly the two quickest out there, well, initially, was Troy Dolenchek and Byron Mitchell. And this time they find themselves a little bit further back, and off the line they come and down towards turn number 1. It's going to be, let's see how this one pans itself out. Willem Botha in there with the Pepsi car, the Iron Brew car is in there as well with Skalk Geldenhuis. That's up to third. Is this going to be where Skalk is going to get the hammer down quickly while the big hitters are trying to work their way through? There's Luke Lucchese and there is Troy Dolenchek. Byron Mitchell's behind them. Willem Botha gets taken out, and well, that's Raymond Duggan that got nailed there as well, and he loses out on that. So it's Dino Stammen from Willem Botha. Then it's behind him is Skalk Geldenhuis, Sandro Bacari that started on the front row. We've got Luke Lucchese that started from 8th position. Already gets himself up on that outside line. He brings Byron Mitchell with him. Byron Mitchell's got Troy Dolenchek in there behind him as well. Troy Dolenchek sitting right on the back bumper of Byron Mitchell. They had one hell of a battle last time around. They're going to come up now behind Sandro Bacari. Does Sandro Bacari become the deciding factor between Byron Mitchell and Umpi Swart? Well, Troy Dolenchek has decided that oh, that must be so close side by side. How they never touched is amazing. And then they do touch eventually. It doesn't get any closer than that. Troy Dolenchek now on the outside line. It's going to be Byron Mitchell that's got that inside line. And Troy's going to lose out as he touches onto the grass. Big battles that's going on in front of that as well. I wish we had 3 different camera shots we could show you at the same time. But let's go to the front end of the grid. There he is. It is Stammen. Oh, it looks like we've lost that Sandro Bacari at the back. It's Stammen. It's Skalk Geldenhuis. It's Luke Lucchese. Then it's Dolenchek. Behind Dolenchek is Robbie Teens that didn't have a happy first round. Julian van der Ares hasn't got through the pack as quick as what he would have liked to. Byron Mitchell that went or finds himself in there with Nico Kellerman, and then only then do we see the likes of Umpi Swart. How much can he make up in 13 minutes? He's got to hope. Oh, Raymond Duggan's gone into the pits, so that's the end of that. So Dino Stammen that leads them out, and well, he needs to keep that gap, because once they get to him and they start slowing one another down, the rest will just, we saw what happened with the first race. 7 cars or 8 cars eventually. Linus third. Skalk Geldenhuis is doing it all right. Skalk Geldenhuis is going to go for the cutback like that. And who does Luke Lucchese favor? Nobody. He favors himself. He just follows them through on the fastest line. He uses that opportunity to get as close as possible. Man, with a good bird's eye view of that one is in fact a Troy Dolenchek. And Skalk makes a bit of an error. He's going to run slightly wider on that corner. No, it all stays together. Luke Lucchese is going to be right there where it counts. Hopefully, for his sake, when these two make any form of error. But wow, Stammen is still holding sway. Skalk Geldenhuis, he's worked his way all to the front end of the pack. What a brilliant drive by Geldenhuis. Wow, has this young lad done so well. And now it's all about, let's go down the center. This is going to be all or nothing. And if it turns to nothing, they're going to go, all 3 of them are going to take themselves out. Troy Dolenchek decides to use a little bit of curbstone, climbs up on that inside line, and he's now got himself up into that 2nd position. Stammen's not going to give it away very easy. Luke Lucchese says, okay, we still got time. He goes on the inside line of Stammen, but remember behind that is Julian van der Ares. It's not a long way back behind that where Julian van der Ares is, and then Umpi Swart as well. Now remember, while they're busy dueling it out at this stage of the fight, these other guys behind them have got all open ground. So look at that, 140. Troy Dolenchek that made up all those positions, notably quicker than everybody else. But look at that, Umpi Swart a 38.7, and on 38.7 he's made up massive ground on everybody. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th place. So while they're duking it out, he's just hoping that they stick very close to one another and slow one another down so that he can make up that gap. And there you see what that gap is. It is quite big. Oh, Troy Dolenchik wants the front. He knows he's got to get going because the Min is right in there as well. He does the classic cutback. I tell you what, that's one thing that Troy Dolenchik is utterly brilliant at, is doing those cutbacks. He will out-jinx, out-duke most anybody, except for the likes of Skulk at this point, that realizes what he's trying to do, closes him down. Look, Lucchese runs through there. Julian from the RS using all the track and space that there is. Oh, they mustn't do that. Skulk trying to get on the outside line and get through there. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. Look at this. It's Skulk Heldenhuis and Troy Dolenchik. In there behind that, Luke Lucchese and Dino Stimmen. And now it becomes a 5-way battle because here comes Julian from the RS. And still, Swart on the last lap was the fastest man. Why? Because they're slaying one another up. And he brings the super duper trick Byron Mitchell with him as well. It just gets better and better. Troy Dolenchik has managed to get his way to the front. Remember, he came from the 5th row of the grid and he got himself to the front. The man that won Rookie of the Year with the InvestChem Formula 1600s last year, the man that with 1 round to go has won the InvestChem 1600 series for 2023, now gets a guest drive, test drive. And Skulk Heldenhuis and Stimmen make contact, and Stimmen gets dumped out of it. That takes him completely away, and once again, Swart has done the fastest lap. He's closing all the time. Troy Dolenchik's broken away. Julian from the RS is the next man in there behind him, and he gets worked towards the outside. Here comes Skulk, and Oompi's in it. Oompi is in it as well. He's ahead of Julian from the RS. He's going to come up alongside Luke Lucchese. Look, Lucchese, what is he going to do with that one? It's going to be so close to one another. He's going to be on the outside line. Skulk runs a bit wide. Look, Lucchese says, thank you, young man. I'll make up that one. Troy Dolenchik looks in the mirror and says, okay, you carry on with it. How's that for blocking? The brilliant IT car gets closed off by Luke Lucchese. Heldenhuis just keeps his nose nice and clean on the outside. Does a bit of a drift there. Oh, Lucchese made a mistake. Lucchese went a little bit wide, and that's going to bring Heldenhuis into it. Heldenhuis is right there, and Oompi's got Julian all over his back bumper. Through the very tight U-turn they go, and they're starting to, well, somehow or other, Troy Dolenchik's not actually getting away that much. If you think how much they're fighting one another, Troy can do whatever line he wants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, all of them together. Who's going to be the best through this one? Heldenhuis up on the inside of Lucchese. Swart up on the inside of Mitchell, with Julian from the RS looking at it and saying, I think this is going to turn to tears. And they've caught up with Troy Dolenchik, even though he had open ground. We're halfway through this race, 7 minutes 40 of the 15 minutes. And it's Troy Dolenchik that is now being closed down. He did not get away from them. And this is what he sees behind him. Look at that. Skulk having a look for that inner line. And then it's going to be all of those guys behind that. Skulk tries to go across. He gets closed out just a little bit there by Luke Lucchese. Oompi Swart is right in there as well. It just doesn't get any closer. Look at that. The John Play Special Olympus Renault Clio of Troy Dolenchik that's come off the 5th row of the grid, leading out from Luke Lucchese from Skulk Heldenhuis, and here comes the brilliant IT car. He's got it across towards the inside, has Oompi Swart. Can he make that one stick? Can he get past Heldenhuis? Heldenhuis is doing a lovely job. Byron Mitchell, Julian from the RS, is now sitting on the back of that pack thinking, well, there's not a lot of time left. I'm going to have to do something. If they don't start taking one another out, I've got to make a plan here. Heldenhuis just nibbles the back bumper of Lucchese. The brilliant IT car of Oompi Swart nibbles the back bumper of Heldenhuis. Can Troy Dolenchik hold them out? Dolenchik, no. Oh, that's the first time that they rub wheel nuts. And that's going to slow the two of them down just a little going into the next corner. And that's what's going to make it possible for Heldenhuis to stick it up on the inside. Heldenhuis runs with the inside. Oompi says, I will take the line that's the fastest. Leaves them all alone. And that brings Byron Mitchell through. Byron Mitchell now up on the inside of Oompi Swart. Oompi leaves him decent space. Byron makes sure that he doesn't touch him. Look at that. Dolenchik, Lucchese, Geldenhuis, Swart, Mitchell, they all together. Und Jillian Familiaris as well. Dino Stimmen just a little bit further back. Troy's got to start driving those lines now to close them off, and that's going to slow him down. And as he drives those lines, so these guys behind that will duke it out. Julian Familiaris desperately wants to get in there amongst them. How does he do it with that row of cars that's there in front of him? Boom, towards the inside goes Umpi Swart. Julian Familiaris wanted to look on the outside. Julian's going to go for the cutback. Julian goes for that inside line, and there they go on the way down the main straight, and there's nothing much in it. Everybody trying to pick up just a little bit of a toe. You'll see Troy dive through. There is, look, they all use the curbstones and a little bit more on the outside. It's lots of pressure on Umpi Swart. Byron Mitchell's rubbing his back bumper. Byron Mitchell's trying to unsettle him. He decides to go for the inside line. Maybe there's a bit of a gap. Well, initially the gap is there, but now we're on the left-hander. Geldenhuis is not going to give any space there whatsoever as they work their way down into the through the long left-hander. And then it's going to be that right-hand corner that they're going to come to now. Very, very sharp corner. Everybody deciding which line they feel is the best. Umpi touches the brakes in the middle of the corner. Make sure that he doesn't allow Skulk to drive. Oh! And the two of them make contact. Unfortunately, they crossed one another's lines at that point. Pretty much, I suppose, a 50-50. Troy Dolenchik still trying to hold out there on the front end of the pack. That's a big, big disappointment for Skulk Geldenhuis. Well, Skulk did brilliantly up until that point. It all worked great. You could see he was trying to hold on to his line. Umpi came up on that inside line, and unfortunately, there was no way around that. Two of them fighting for the same piece of property, and it wasn't going to be anything else but tears for one or both of them. Troy Dolenchik, Luke Lucchese with 3.5 minutes to go. Byron Mitchell's in this one. Julian Familiaris sat there patiently watching, waiting. He didn't back out at all. He just stayed there and saw what he could do. Can Umpi work his way further forward? Remember, with this slot now, Sturmin has actually started to close up on them. Dino doing a 38.5 as opposed to the rest of them in 39s. And Umpi, obviously, with that incident that he had with Geldenhuis on a 140 for an 8.28. So Sturmin's not out of it. Lucchese rubs the back bumper. That's going to slow the two of them down just a little bit. Can Byron Mitchell do the necessaries to stay in that position? I don't think so. I think it's going to be Julian Familiaris that's going to get the better of that one. Julian Familiaris goes through, so does Umpi Swart. So Umpi Swart has made his way ahead there of Byron Mitchell. Julian Familiaris, that's the same spot where that on the previous lap that incident was that Umpi Swart was in. Now he goes on the outside line, stays on the outside line, tries to carry that speed through. Byron Mitchell's wanting to have a look there as well. He's got to go some because Dino's there. Dino's in it as well, and Dino rubs the back bumper of Umpi Swart. He dives for the outside line, goes for the outside, but what does he see there? It's Byron Mitchell that's in front of him. Decides maybe Umpi's the better bet. Follows Umpi. Now Byron slightly ahead, so Dino climbs in and tries to go on that inside line. Just ahead of them was Julian Familiaris that was trailing smoke. You can't go three abreast through there. Oh, Sturmin is going to be on the outside line. Umpi goes three abreast. Then determines it's better to back out of that one and live to fight another day. So let's go from the front end down. This is probably the last time that they're going to be coming around. Maybe one more after that. Look at this battle. It's the Min that's actually got past Umpi Swart, and then Byron Mitchell's in there as well. Byron Mitchell is going to have a look, and I think he's going to make it. He might get up to that 4th position. Byron Mitchell nicely turns it in. Umpi Swart says, come on, Dino, you got to go. You got to go. Otherwise, this man's going to come right around the outside of us. Somehow they hold on to that. Umpi Swart's got a battle of a lifetime that's happening there right now. Can't believe it. What an amazing race this has turned out to be. Fantastic stuff from the beginning all the way through. 0.7 of a second at the front end of the pack. There you could briefly see the front three as they go through. This is the biggest battle of the lot. Let's go back to Troy Dolenchik. Will this be the last time around? Where are they? on the circuit. There they come through. Now, I think this is the last lap. This could be the very last time that they come around. Troy Dolenchik from Lucchese coming off the 5th row of the grid. That will be utterly amazing for the two of them. Let's just have a look further back there. Oh, that battle is still raging. It's not over yet, but it looks like it's going to go the way there of Umpi Swart for a 4th position. Will this be the last lap? Will it be white or will it be checkered? That was going to be the checkered flag that's going to be coming out for that man in the John Player Special Car, Troy Dolenchik, Investcam Formula 1600 2023 champion from Lucchese, ex-karting champion from Julian Familiares, from Umpi Swart that eventually wins out from Dino Sturmin, and then behind Dino Sturmin is Byron Mitchell, Skalk Swart, Nico Kellerman, and then Sandro Bakari, the next one that's going to come through behind that. He started on the front row of the grid, did Sandro Bakari, and he'll work his way through. Oh, Raymond Duggan also a long way down, and I think he'll be a bit disappointed with that. He would have fancied being a whole heap further forward. There he's going to come through now underneath the Hockenheim bridge, and Luca and Robbie were out of it, so that's where that one ends. So let's go and have a look at the results. That is race number 1. Troy Dolenchik from Byron Mitchell, Umpi Swart, Lucchese, and Julian Familiares, with Skalk Keldernace just outside of the top 5. And if we look at the second one once again, whoopsie, what is the second heat results not coming up for us? Let's see if we can maybe pick it up. It should be over here. There we go. So 2 wins for Troy Dolenchik, 2 seconds for Lucchese. Julian Familiares, well, Durant Motorsport coming through in 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Julian, Yuri, and Byron with Skalk once again just outside of the top 5. A nice drive there by Nico Kellerman. He acquitted himself pretty well. Sandro Bakari that ended in 10th position in heat number 1. And started in pole, ends in 8th with Raymond Duggan, Dino, Willem, Robbie, and Luca in there behind that. So, wow, that was amazing stuff. I don't think you could ask for anything better than that. It's just as good as it gets. And I, for one, am very sorry to see the back end of the iRacing South Africa Clio Cup, round 6 of 6 rounds. This one coming to you from Hockenheim in the Renault Clio, and I seriously hope that the powers that be are going to make sure that we can see more Clio Cup in the very near future, because this is some of the best racing that we see on iRacing from some of the best in South Africa as well. And luckily, with the kind of people that we've got behind this kind of series, like Yaku, that have done so much work to get the driving standards correct. That is why you can have this form of racing with the youngsters, and it is clean cut, it's hardcore, it's rubbing of wheel nuts, it's utterly amazing stuff. On behalf of Second Gear Productions, myself, Gary Fleming from Second Gear Talk Show and Second Gear Productions, thank you for joining us. Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night at 8 with a preview of the Motorsport South Africa Dirt Oval for South Africa National Championships 2023, which will be going down from 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon in the friendly city of Oudtshoorn. From my side, cheers everybody.